All right, what up guys? So wrapping up this pacing month that we've been having, finishing off with anaerobic, which as we know is our high intensity, 100% max effort type days. One of the biggest things I see is that members and clients don't know really what max effort feels like, right? So that's an opportunity for us as coaches to educate and motivate to get them to that threshold. If they leave an anaerobic day thinking that was manageable, then I don't think we did our job on the floor right. So unlike what Trey and Amari were talking about with momentum and durability, where pacing is a big aspect to those specific intervals, for me, anaerobic days, pacing is kind of a back thought, right? I'm not necessarily thinking about pacing, I'm thinking about quality, max, output. See, one of the things that I think of when I'm on the floor, like taking the class, is I'm not chasing fatigue, but I'm chasing max quality output, which should in turn lead me to that fatigue feeling. I think when most members think about anaerobic days, they're thinking about speed in the sense of how many reps am I getting each effort, right? And the technique goes out the window because all their focus is about is reps. They're pulling at 40 strokes a minute paces on the rows, and the skis, they're leaning and tilting on the presses. They've got lazy slams because again, all their focus is how many reps am I getting? And using this as a time to educate them on 70% and 100%, the technique should look, for the most part, pretty much identical, right? If I was just watching a video of someone moving 70% weight and someone moving 100% weight, I shouldn't really be able to tell the difference on which one is which. So getting them to understand the concept of, yes, there is movements in here where, you know, the goal is how fast can you do it? But for the most part, what I found is on anaerobic days, it's not necessarily speed, it's the power output that you're putting into each movement. So teaching them or educating them to be intentional with their technique and their breathing and their tension inside of each rep, which is gonna lead to an aggressiveness in their movements. That's one, gonna make them faster. Two, the quality is gonna be better. So guess what? Three, you're gonna end up getting more reps and you're gonna feel that speed that you've been chasing because your power output is higher on these anaerobic days at 100%. And then last thing I'll touch on is how can we motivate our clients on the floor during these high output, high intensity anaerobic days. And it's really kind of two different ends of the spectrums, right? You have our Gen Pop members who don't know what a true 100% discomfort feels like. And then you have our tenured members who have been here so long that it almost feels like they have gotten complacent in their 100% pacing. They found their groove, they found their rhythm, and they're no longer pushing that threshold of what 100% feels like. So being able to motivate on the floor, the two different ends of the spectrum, I think are really big, and they kind of overlap with what we're gonna do, right? I call the Gen Pop people in the wrestling room, I call them face grimacers, meaning if I'm looking at your face, it's going to look like you're making it look like to me that you're working really, really hard based on your facial expressions throughout these whole movements, but I watch your body and your output as a whole, you're really not doing much, right? Whether it's because they just don't know, which is fine, right? If you've never pushed to 100% and gotten to that like level of discomfort, I can't expect you to know how to push to that, which is where we come in, or they're just scared to, right? So almost giving them permission to get uncomfortable, I find helps a lot with the face grimacing group or the Gen Pop group. And then on the other end of the spectrum, people who have gotten complacent or are no longer like pushing the line on that threshold, giving them kind of this cue, so I'll watch them, right? If we're doing 20 seconds of output and we're there for multiple efforts in a row, I'm gonna stand in front, whether it's person A, who is Gen Pop, or it's person B, who was high level X athlete, but I can tell they're kind of just coasting. I'm gonna stand in front of them, I'm gonna count their reps, right? I'm gonna count how many reps of ball slams they do in 20 seconds. And then in between efforts, I'm gonna walk up to them and be like, hey, make that your slowest round, right? So now they have a number. I tell them, you got 8 reps in 20 seconds, don't get less than 8, right? So giving them a tangible number to shoot for, right? Because most people, they come in here, the reason they come in here is so that they can just check out. But getting mindfulness into these anaerobic days is what helps us push into that threshold. Another way to do this is just setting a goal. I did this with Drew the other week on maybe the bike or the rower, one of the ergs, but knowing the pace, because the pace is the pace, right? You can hold 220, but what does that really mean, right? So I'll give them a number. I'll be like, hey, 650 meters. I'll reset the screen for them so it starts at 0. 650 meters are what you're going for. I want nothing less, right? And it forces that intentional output of, I have something to chase, so now I have to put in the work and get there, right? And then when they do it, using that as a chance to celebrate with them. Be like, hey, I don't think I've ever seen you on the floor in here push to that level of discomfort. Really good job today, right? Or out of all the years that you've been here, I can start to see that intensity ramp back up again. Really good job today, right? So making sure it's super easy to celebrate wins on anaerobic days when we're moving heavy weights and we're pushing that pace. So just make sure, educate, they understand it's not sloppy speed, right? It's intentional, powerful, max output. Motivate them, give them something tangible to chase when applicable, and then celebrate with them, right? Make sure they leave here on these really hard days feeling like they accomplished something because they did, right? They did something really hard, they made it out the other side, and then we get to rinse and repeat tomorrow.